we have some shocking news to share with you. Imagine you're doing something so wrong that even your own friends start to turn against you. That's exactly what seems to be happening now with Saudi Arabia and the G7 nations. Recently, Saudi Arabia warned the G7 countries about their plan to take $300 billion in frozen Russian assets. This is a huge amount of money that the G7 countries froze. After Russia invaded Ukraine, Saudi Arabia said that if the G7 went ahead with their plan, they might sell off their European debt holdings, especially bonds from France. This is a big deal because it shows that power isn't just in the hands of the US and Europe anymore. Other countries are becoming more influential too. The warning from Saudi Arabia was reportedly made privately by their finance ministry to the G7 countries. They opposed the idea of seizing another country's assets. A few weeks ago, the G7 leaders decided to give loans to Ukraine, using the profits from the Russian assets instead of taking the assets themselves. This is like your bank taking the interest your savings earn and giving it to someone else as a loan. The EU's plan is to use these profits for Ukraine, which they announced after their G7 meeting in June. Saudi Arabia holds a lot of European bonds, and if they decide to sell them, it would send a strong message to the world. Other countries might follow their lead. To protect their own assets from similar risks, we have to keep in mind that countries, like people, don't always agree on everything. Saudi Arabia, along with other countries, like Turkey, has gotten good at playing multiple sides at once. They are aligned with the West for security reasons, and want to attract Western investments and buy military technology from the West. However, in this new world where power is more spread out, Saudi Arabia wants to play a bigger role in global politics and lead a more independent policy. Making such a warning in private was enough to show their view on the actions of the EU and the United States. A few weeks ago, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky visited Saudi Arabia and met with Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. At the same time, Saudi Arabia gave President Putin of Russia a warm welcome during his visit. This shows that in a multipolar world, Saudi Arabia wants to lead a more independent foreign policy. Saudi Arabia's warning might have two reasons. First, to protect their own interests, and second, to show solidarity with Russia. However, Saudi Arabia might be acting in their own best interest first. Their private warning shows their position is different from the West's, and they are now more comfortable being straightforward about it. They want to minimize risks for themselves. If the EU goes through with their plan, we might see a lot of money moving out of Western institutions. Not just from Saudi Arabia selling its debt holdings, but also from other countries reacting similarly. This could lead to more political alignment that might not favor the NATO countries. This situation shows that many countries around the world don't want war. They want peace, and the decisions of powerful leaders will determine whether we have peace or war. Important players like China, the United States, and the European Union need to decide whether they want to push for peace or continue with their current policies. If these major powers choose peace, it will be easier for Ukraine and Russia to find a solution to stop the fighting and save lives. Thank you for watching. We hope you found this video interesting and informative. Please remember to share the video if you enjoyed it. This will help us a lot, and we owe it all to you. And as always, stay blessed.